Shalom. We are here, and this is my wife Clara Muroga, and this is Muroga Murage, and we are here to share our journey into the digital space. This has been a journey because we are not exactly young. I hear that there are people who are migrants into the digital space. They were analog all through, and that is what we were. But we have taken a long journey, and this is what is called
live streaming.
Live streaming. Maybe my wife would start off and say where we started. Why are we calling ourselves analog, and how is that journey?
Yeah, of course, our prayer is that as we share, this will be an encouragement to us so that we can be aware of what the Lord is doing at every point.
Yes.
In every generation. Because as my husband says, we were as analog can be. Not even having the confidence about sharing emails, and that was a kind of normal thing even during our time. But we struggled with that. We even thought when you get into the online space, you will find a lot of things that will cause you to sin and capture you so that you get lost. And one of the things we kept doing is warning the young people we were working with to be careful about being online because they can be caught off guard. So it actually took the hand of God to open our minds to that fact. So for many years, thank God, we didn't really need online to be able to talk to people personally. But over the years, as we continued along, we began seeing snatches of that, especially with the coming smartphones, which were also a struggle initially until the Lord helped us to capture, really to realize that we can minister maybe through WhatsApp and the different ways. But early in 2020, it became and you know what happened in 2020, but early in 2020 when the news of the COVID-19 was just starting to look like it's very far from us in our country, it's interesting that the Lord started opening our hearts to the fact that we need to start thinking about ministering online. That's why we were convinced this is his leading. I don't think he came and just spoke in a loud voice, as you would imagine, but he spoke to us as we were listening to him in the Word. So one time, just reading through the Bible, a scripture stands out for us. The story of these four lepers who, when Israel was under siege, and the Lord uses them to bring the good news to the children of Israel about the fact that there was food now and the army had escaped. And one of the things they said, if we keep this to ourselves, we will. You remember?
We said we are sinning.
Yes.
If we keep this good news to ourselves, we will be sinning against the Lord.
Yes.
And they decided, now that we have eaten, we have taken the loot, it is time for us, because if we don't do something now, the Lord is going to punish us.
Yes.
For hiding the good news to other people who are also suffering from the siege.
And I remember God pointing, I believe it was God who pointed those words to us, that he has invested, I would say, a lot, having ministered to young people for over 20 years now. We were just keeping what he was teaching us to ourselves because we don't want to get online. We think we will get into sin. We are warning others about the same. And so the Lord just ministered to our hearts that we are keeping what he is investing in us to ourselves, and we are sinning, basically. And I remember a month or two later, COVID hits, and we are all stuck at home. We cannot move. And the question was, what was the Lord saying? Did he mean a long story, really? I'm cutting it short. And it was clear, it was apparent that we have to get online. And that's how the Lord led us. And that's why we are actually on this live stream, because of God's leading.
Well, we have forgotten to say that there's a friend who came, one of the people we have discipled, who came and said, you people have so much content. She saw the books, she saw the materials we have. She knew that almost 12, 13 years ago, we had already ministered to her in campus. And we therefore had a wealth of experience. And we are just here sitting. And we are saying, oh, some of the things they send on media, they're just vile. They have vulgar language, bad material. And then she said, I follow some of these people because there's no good material anywhere. You have the material, but you're keeping it to yourself. So we decided now there's something we ought to do. And then COVID hit, and the Lord spoke to us through the story of the lepers. I think it's Second Kings chapter 4. Was it first or second? Yeah. Yeah. So that is how we were thrust into this digital space. And we started off. I had an account on Facebook. I stayed maybe for a week, and I didn't even check what is happening. That is some time ago. Then I now came back and into Facebook, and I knew I started learning what Facebook page is and other things about Facebook. And I think my wife got into YouTube before me. Yeah, maybe you could share that your journey to YouTube.
Yeah, so like we are saying, that's how we got kind of baptized, what I got into the online space. And one of the things I knew, because I didn't know how to get in, but one of the things I knew was the fact that I had had a lot of people, visitors, of course, and get into our kitchen and ask how I bake my cakes, and especially to show people how I bake them without an oven, the style that I do. And so that's the first thing that came to my mind. Why don't you share some of the things you have been learning over the years? You know, someone mentions you like about baking without an oven, the way I do it. My sister just mentioned in passing, and she tried it, and I saw it works. She didn't even continue herself. I'm the one who continued with that, and it would amaze a lot of people. And what people loved about it was that they could be in a college room or a hostel, and they can still bake a cake and present it to guests to enhance their hospitality. So this was really part of the discipleship process that I was learning and growing in, and using some of that to minister to young people. And that's how God just put it in my heart. Why don't you start recipes channel that you can share some of these recipes, because there are people who would also ask for these recipes, and they don't they are writing and they have forgotten, and they ask for the recipe again. I send. This time I'm thankful that I decided, let me put them on YouTube, so that if anybody also asks, I can tell them, go to the channel and find out about this recipe on the channel. And that has been very helpful to date. But what I'm thankful for this is that it's a channel about hospitality, because our background is really discipleship. So we don't just see cooking for the sake of it. It's cooking to enhance our hospitality for the glory of God. I continued with that, and what I'm thankful for is that the Lord has continued to help me in my own creativity, so that recipes I never thought would land on the channel have actually landed there, because of the creativity in the kitchen and the desire to share what I'm learning with others. And I'm thankful we started with that, because that's what gave me confidence before the camera, gave me confidence in ministering to people. And so in the process, I realized, I'm very limited when it comes to sharing discipleship matters in line with the woman, which was really my calling, ministering to young women. And that's how the other channel was born, Formations of a Noble Woman, so that I can now share all in terms of womanhood, in terms of discipling young women, in terms of just the issues that affect us as women, and all the issues around that. That's how that channel was born, because I didn't know how to incorporate that in one that was now already recipes and hospitality. And of course, with that challenge, I believe that's how we had already started this main channel to minister to the everyone really on the aspects of discipleship. So basically, that's how we landed on this space, and in the process now landed on the other platforms, at least for me, as I realized the potential of the same in reaching people with this good news.
Well, yeah, I think we should have backtracked a bit and said that you had written quite a book, like it was a cookbook, and you had quite a number of ingredients there. They're called the recipes that you had written down, and so when people would call or would come, you would get the book and you try to get some of these recipes and share with them. And therefore, in fact, that is one of the books that people are saying now. This one you have material that you can share with other people. And you mentioned about other channels that followed, and the main ministry channel is called Directing Youth to God. And remember, we were sitting right here in this same room when I first saw myself on camera. And I wondered, it looks like a mirror. I'm seeing myself, I'm talking, and then I'm wondering, how do I behave? I've never been on camera. I had never been on camera before, so it looked very strange to be there. But my wife was a bit more confident, and she kept encouraging me. I was feeling, butterflies in the stomach. But because of the necessity to minister, because it seemed to be the only way to minister during the Corona season, and we didn't want to just sit and wait, though we were writing, but we still wanted to minister to people. We, being Africans, we are more what we would say mundu kwa mundu, mundu kwa mundu. That means man to man, one on one. Mundu kwa mundu is one on one.
Who you're talking to,
yes,
not a camera.
Not a camera. So, and we were wondering, so who am I talking to exactly? And even this live stream, I think I'm a little more confident now because of the journey that the Lord has already taken us. So, on concerning Facebook, I was so excited to write because I've always written, maybe through my life, journaled since over 22 years, I guess. So I've been there in the very, acquainted to a bit of writing, but not speaking. So I went there and I was writing quite a number of things. Until now, my wife challenged me, and I think circumstances also came and challenged me. Now be on camera, and I started
Other people challenged you.
Yes.
Also.
And especially because I was feeling, why not? What do other people have that makes them minister that I do not have? Well, and therefore I started. But I'm thankful that I was able to, on Facebook, there is a way you can get live. There's a way you can send videos. There's a way you can also write, and you're not seeing. There are also podcasts, which I've also tried my hand on in the over this period that we are still acquainting ourselves to the digital world. Yes.
Yeah, and so I think these are some of the realities in our time, even as we trust the Lord, perhaps today to be an encouragement to someone. Just the reality that a lot of the world is going digital, and sometimes as we trust the Lord to guard against the dangers online, we also realize that we need to get the message to those that need to get that message. I'm thankful for some of the feedback that has continued to come in of what the Lord is doing by some of the content we share. As much as we may think these are few people in our minds, but a lot of the feedback keeps us going when we realize that the Lord is at work. Of course, as the season opened up, we still cannot neglect one-to-one, but we continue getting encouraged by the feedback that someone can be washing dishes and they get encouraged by a message you share, or they change their lives by the message you share. By personally, my life has actually been changed a lot for the better, as much as I have to make sure I guard against the dangers. I think you have had more experience in terms of having to guard against the dangers of the online space.
Yeah, the online space is, I would say, one of the spaces you may not have mastery on. You, it's like a sneaky rabbit hare. You think you've got it, you're hunting it, and it has already ducked. You really don't get it. It's sometimes like a mirage. You see it so near, then when you get near, it's so far. So your control over it, you're putting your hand around it is not easy, especially if you want to lead the Christian life, walking with the Lord. So, but I guess everything that is good or has good fruit has the dark side of it in this world, as far as it is on this side of heaven. It has advantages, it has disadvantages. You have to employ quite a bit of self-control in it. So I would say, especially because of the versatility of the different things you may do on the digital world, on the internet, I think I still like it that if you're a person who maybe do not fear the camera, you even like it, there are many spaces for that. Writing, many spaces, voiceovers, podcasts, all these things are things you can all do. And therefore we should not like cringe in fear and say, oh, I can do. You have a starting point. You keep growing, and like saying, punching fear on your face. There are things you say from your friend that you watch quite a bit. Yeah, so what is this you say, punching fear?
Punching fear in the face.
Yes.
And I learned from a lot on this online space.
Yes, so yeah, and then when you are able to get confidence in one area, you can still continue growing in other areas. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think those are some of the lessons we are learning as we continue on the online space. Of course, like we have shared, one of the lessons is you have to guard your heart and to guard yourself while online, because just like the world, we have to guard. Even here, we have to guard, because there's good things here and bad things here. And so we trust the Lord for that, even as you continue. And then the second thing we have had to learn is that the Lord is not just limited to the one-on-one. Of course, it's the best, but He can also use the online space. And it doesn't help to make it look like it's a wicked thing, but that the Lord can use that. And I would say personally, the third thing is, but still to keep working with the two. Because also the other danger is going online, and then we miss the personal connection.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think those are some of the lessons we are learning. But also one other lesson that has stood out for me this season is just the fact that we are reaching quite a number of people, not just here on YouTube, but ministering in different contexts. Where it would have been difficult sometimes to organize a training, but now you can invite many people and they respond and come for a training, like the one we are having with women right now, just because of the online space. So we don't ignore one part of it, the mundu kumundu personal, but we also just trust the Lord to use the great potential that is there when it comes to the online space.
Wow. I don't know whether we have something more to say.
Yeah, so we hope to do these live streams because we can tell that's a better way to go, so that if we settle for a day like now, Saturday at 4, we could try to come here live just to share some things that are on our hearts as the Lord put it in our hearts, or just issues that are affecting the body of Christ, particularly in terms of discipleship. We hope to be a blessing. So if you could be joining us at such a time, it would be wonderful. But of course, we will keep going as we see how it works out. But that's really our journey of how we got onto this digital space, especially on this very fast live stream that we have ever done in our lives.
Let me try something here. This is live stream. And this is Muroga Murage and Clara Karushi. Well,
oh dear. Okay. Yes, we are done for today. So this was the channel directing youth to God. Of course, as we desire to keep working with young people and to encourage others to trust the Lord to do so and just help you in your personal walk with the Lord. Now, take us away.
Wow. I can't wait to see how this will be, because I've known this before, and I am glad that we can punch fear on its face and trust the Lord to do that which we have never done for his glory, because we gave ourselves to him. All we are and all we have is his.
Amen.
And with that, I just want to say bye. The Lord bless us and keep us. Amen.
Amen.
End.